Japan's close cooperation with the United States led to significant development of its military industry. With U.S. help, the F-16C-based Mitsubishi F-2 fighters were created. Let's also not forget the Congo-class cruisers, modeled on the U.S. Arleigh Burke-class destroyers. Today, we're going to check on the development of Japan's sixth-generation fighter jet, which should help the country deter aggression from North Korea, China, and Russia. The Japanese company Mitsubishi, together with the Japan Self-Defense Forces, are actively developing a sixth-generation fighter, which will replace the Model X-2 Shinshin by 2030. The project was named Mitsubishi F-3. It is also known as a Mitsubishi FX or Godzilla, either because of its size or as a tribute to the world-famous kaiju that destroyed Tokyo more than once in the movies. What is noteworthy is that the new fighter will be the first ever stealth aircraft made in Japan. In addition, the country wants to present it on the international stage, drawing the interest of the world's leading nations in acquiring it. The FX program began as a result of a U.S. ban on Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor exports in order to protect its military technology, as Japan was unable to purchase F-22 fighters, and the country's air fleet needed a radical upgrade. The Ministry of Defense conducted a study to develop a sixth-generation fighter to replace the F-2. First and foremost, military experts decided that a state-of-the-art jet engine was needed. The fighter concept itself was dubbed I-3, Informed, Intelligent, Instantaneous. Its technological centerpiece intends to incorporate advanced radar systems to counter stealth aircraft. This makes sense, considering that the fighter itself is also being built using low-visibility technology. Among the engineer's innovations, there are also several drones working in unison that are meant to obtain information about the location of targets and to counteract them. The aircraft will use a fly-by-optic system as an auxiliary tool, which provide higher data transfer speed, resistance to electromagnetic interference, and significantly less weight compared to its ancestor, fly-by-wire. Earlier similar technology was already used in the Kawasaki P-1 aircraft. Almost all of the sixth-generation fighter development is directly related to the X-2 Shinshin demonstrator. It enabled the country to test advanced functionality and then equip the F-3 with it. Japan's interest in selling the fighter jet overseas led to authorities exploring the possibility of collaborating with the world's largest countries on the latest aircraft in 2017 to 2018. First on the list, of course, was the United States, followed by the United Kingdom. The Japanese sent offers to leading aviation companies, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and BAE Systems, to participate in the project. Boeing offered to create an upgraded version of its F-15. Lockheed Martin offered to create a multitasking fighter F-35 and to take the lion's share of the development and production of their future aircraft. Northrop Grumman presented its YF-23, the technology of which could also be taken into consideration, and BAE Systems, in turn, was ready to provide the Eurofighter Typhoon. Nevertheless, the Eurofighter Typhoon and F-15 did not meet the requirements of the Japanese ministry, and the Lockheed Martin stealth fighter was too expensive for the country. In addition, Japan feared that the situation with the ban on F-22 sales could be repeated in the future. An internal Japanese report stated that the high-tech fighter would have cost $177 million. Several years of trying out different collaboration options led to the authorities deciding that they would focus on their own production, giving the project to the domestic company Mitsubishi. But they did not rule out cooperation with foreign industry experts in the future. Among the main requirements of the F-3 fighter were total air superiority, the expansion of functionality by introducing new generation technologies, the possibility to modify the platform on a regular basis, and the predominant participation of Japanese industry in the creation of project and affordable cost. And while the first 4 points seemed to be in order, the cost of the entire project turned out to be considerable, more than $48 billion. Due to its impressive size, Japanese engineers expect the FX to have many times the range of its F-2 predecessor and its respective payload. Electric actuators will be used to replace conventional hydraulic systems. According to the Ministry of Defense of Japan, this choice was made because of difficulties with the interior of the F-3. When designing the fighter, it was necessary to take the inner gun compartment and air intakes into account, however. Eventually, the engineers were faced with another problem in the form of hydraulic system piping installation. The introduction of electric actuators completely eliminated this shortcoming, due to them being connected through wiring. This means the installation will be simpler and provide more flexibility when forming the airframe. Another cool design feature was to abandon fastener connections by gluing composite materials together. This method was called integrated construction without fasteners. As for maintaining aircraft hull lightness, even with its impressive size, aluminum alloy and carbon fiber reinforced polymer will be applied in the engine area to reduce weight. The engines themselves will be equipped with nozzles with a three-dimensional thrust vector, which will allow the fighter to achieve maximum possible maneuverability and be stealthier. Unlike its F-2 predecessor, the AFX will expand the use of carbon fiber and adhesive casting throughout the fuselage to reduce the structural weight of the hull by 11.6% and reduce labor costs by nearly 70%. A lot of effort and money was thrown into the avionics of the project, among other things. Built-in sensors, including AESA, RF sensors, and an infrared camera, are used to detect other invisible aircraft in the air. And to keep enemies from realizing that an F-3 had caught up with them, electromagnetic wave absorbers and ionized gas were used to enhance the invisible properties in order to reduce radar cross-section. In addition to its invisibility, special attention will be paid to the use of radar as a microwave weapon to increase the effectiveness of countering enemy missiles. The fighter uses a semiconductor material, gallium nitride, which will enable plane to literally fry enemy missiles. According to preliminary estimates of the engineers, this amount of electronics will generate a lot of heat. To cope with it, a special heat transfer system will be installed in the F-3. To have the F-3 equipped with cruise missiles, Tokyo has recently invested millions of dollars in ASM-3 anti-ship missiles, as well as low observable joint strike missiles, which, in addition to effectively destroying sea targets, can dispatch targets located on land. F-3 pilots will actively use UAVs as support. The drone development program is called Combat Support Unmanned Aircraft, and the principle resembles the Kratos XQ-58 Valkyrie and Boeing Air Power Teaming System projects, in which the drone plays the role of the wingman. There are several drone types. The first will act as a sensor carrier and scout for target detection. The second, more militaristic drone is capable of firing ammunition and directing incoming missiles toward itself, steering them away from the fighter. Both versions of the drones are made using the same design. Their development is planned to be completed by 2030. According to the schedule, the first prototype will be created by 2024 and a test flight will take place in 2028. As for mass fighter production in the future, they plan to start it in 2031, and by 2035 the aircraft will be put into service after purchasing the first batch of 90 aircraft. One of the main goals of this Japanese sixth-generation fighter was to counter Russian and Chinese stealth fighters. The F-3 will enable Japan not only to secure the support of the most powerful world power, the United States, if cooperation with American corporations continues, but also to keep up with its armed neighbors, who cause constant tension due to their growing military power near Japan's borders. In addition, the potential threat posed by North Korea's nuclear program shouldn't be forgotten about, either. Disputes in the East and South China Seas continue as China's power grows by leaps and bounds, frightening not only Japan but also the rest of the world. Chinese and Russian fighter jets and bombers are very often spotted around Japanese airspace, leading to tense confrontations, such as a confrontation in 2019 over disputed islands involving the South Korean military. Experts believe that Japan's development of its own military technology greatly unnerves China, as it leads to the increased militarization of the country. Consequently, it will be able to successfully counter the Chinese Shenyang J-11, Chengdu J-20, and Shenyang FC-31 fighters in retaliation. Beijing's gradually expanding fleet of stealth fighters is forcing Japan to devote a lot of attention to stealth technology, especially considering the fact that Russia is also testing this technology and is actively developing it in its latest modifications of its Su-57 fighters. Japan intends to enlist the support of its allies in the creation of the fighter jet. Its main international partner currently is Lockheed Martin with the low observable F-35 fighter. In addition, Japanese partners have an interest in assistance from Northrop Grumman. If they are still willing to help develop the project, help from the United States could significantly speed up the development cycle and complement the existing technology stack with their unique vision of aircraft building. What do you think of the new Japanese fighter jet? What feature impressed you the most? Be sure to let us know in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to always stay up to date. See you soon.